So after our deep dive into mermaids yesterday, we started having some like epiphany moments, didn't you, Vic?
A little bit.
You had epiphany moments that led to epiphany moments.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lounge of light today, which is like a chat, and we will clarify things with the board, gain more information, to see if our epiphany moments relay into the planes and the realms and creation.
I mean, we haven't really looked at plane 1, had we?
Well, we haven't been allowed to look at plane 1 because every time we want to look at plane 1, it goes straight to 2.
But then yesterday, when we decided to look into the mermaids for one of our subscribers,
yes,
it allowed us some access to plane 1.
Yeah.
Which tells us that we have to get certain pieces of the puzzle before we can
continue.
Because it's like building a puzzle with a puzzle piece in a place without other puzzle pieces around it if we don't do it that way.
Exactly.
So we learnt that mermaids were of plane 1.
They were of plane 1.
Or are, if everything is now. The same as giants are plane 1. So plane 1 is the land of the giants. Where did we go from here? The Anunnaki keeps coming up.
The Anunnaki does keep coming up. How about you start with your...
Well,
no, because it's still a valid thought about your thought of the beginning. And like we can go through and we can clarify things, yes and no's. And
well, the story kind of goes, doesn't it, that the Anunnaki came and they altered the DNA of the human, is that right?
Well, that's the Gnostics' point of view, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people talk on that. And is that how giants were created? Is that correct? Am I correct in thinking? I'm not going off truth now, I'm just going off the correct version of other people's story.
I don't know if that is exactly how giants were created, but they say that the Anunnaki themselves were giants. So, yeah, apparently they're supposed to be about 12 to 15 foot tall extraterrestrial giants from the planet Nibiru.
Okay.
So, they themselves were what would be seen as giants as well.
Yeah. But humans were not giants, and they became giants when the Anunnaki got involved and...
So the story goes, if you listen to like Gnosticism and people like Emerald Tablets,
lots of people talk like that, don't they?
Yeah, they say that they bred giants,
and they say, don't they, that it was the Anunnaki breeding with the female human.
With the female human.
No, what I can't get my head round.
I agree.
Is that a female woman, wouldn't be able to house a giant baby. She would split in two.
She wouldn't be able to house a giant anything.
She wouldn't be able to birth a giant baby. But not only that, she wouldn't have enough fuel, nutrients to feed and grow the giant baby. The giant baby would be lacking in all of the essential things it needs to survive the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Now, I did look at what people's explanation must be around this, because it can't just be me or you that are questioning that. There's got to be other
people that are questioning that as well.
I had a quick look on the Google to see if other people have questioned this, and apparently people have come up with this wonderful idea that it's okay because, God,
what?
It's your necklace. I thought you had a great big mole hanging off your neck. Like,
oh God, no.
So. People have said, oh, well, it didn't work like that. The ladies birthed ordinary-sized babies, and then it was only when they were birthed that they then sprouted into giants.
Right.
And I just think...
That don't make no sense in my brain. Surely if you're a giant, you're going to be born of above average size. I mean, a modern midwifery
you're either a giant
now,
or you're not a giant, aren't you? You know, you don't...
Yeah, you can't be born of normal size and become said giant.
Yeah, you're one or the other. It's not. I'm not gonna be pregnant with a normal human baby, and then when it's born, it becomes an elf.
No.
It's just not how it works, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
And I know these theories all do already seem far-fetched, so some might say, well, you know, But I still want some kind of groundedness to this.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of sense of...
And maybe that is us being very human, but...
But there's nothing wrong with being human, and there's nothing wrong with questioning.
It's worth investigating. But then my other thought is that mermaids, they came into it, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And something, I don't know what it is, and I don't know whether... This isn't something I've read, but it's just something here that won't leave me alone. That I just feel that mermaids came before human. That we were all right, mermaids, whatever you want to call them. We were ocean creatures before we were land creatures. That's how I'm going to word it.
But if you take from that video we did yesterday talking about the mermaids, it brought into it about Noah's Ark and the flood and how they could have been left behind. So they were already there.
This is what I'm thinking. Were we mermaids or were we ocean creatures before we were land creatures? And actually, did the Anunnaki come? And what they actually did is that they did something with the ocean creature DNA that allowed ocean creatures to then be land creatures. And maybe they did start as giants because, I don't know, they came from... I don't know. I think we need to...
I don't know. But your theory is correct, but it ties in... Well, I feel it. There's truth in it, but it ties into the planes as well. When they talk about the gods, the Egyptian gods being giants, like Isis.
See, I don't want to get too technical with this because I would never ever make out that I have any kind of science knowledge. I'm not a scientist. I'm not. I don't do physics. I don't have the brain that would understand that.
Yeah.
But the dimensions and how it's sort of... I understand that fish would be considered to be of the same dimension as us, the humans.
Yeah.
3D reality.
Yeah.
3D, 4D, whatever it is, space-time.
We're in, for 3D with
3D space
4D time.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
And I understand about the movement, and well, I don't understand it, but I have an idea of what I've kind of looked at. It's about, you know, backwards, forwards, left, right, up, down, and all that. But what if it's also the fact that if we are in firmaments or whatever they're called, I can never say that word. Firmaments. And we have water above us.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's just been looked at a bit wrong? And what if sea, sort of 2D, land,
3D?
And I know I'm going to get attacked for this.
No, because it's still a perspective and a theory that
but
needs
I'm not
into.
looking at it in the whole physics way.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it in the spiritual kind of perceptive, sort of philosophical way. And so, like, as mermaids, plane one
would be
live under the firmament of the...
in the water.
Yeah.
That's 2D.
And then... Oh, I don't know, my head.
Yeah, but we'll dig into it all. But then obviously it led into as well that little realisation or epiphany about going back to like the Anunnaki and us being playing for the line of Adam and seeing and reading and hearing that Isis was a giant and Isis birthed the first man, Adamu. Adam.
And I know that's a separate...
But what did we get on the mermaids yesterday?
Ancient Egypt gods and Anunnaki aren't always considered the same thing, are they? They're not. They're
different. Don't know.
It's like
they came from the bloodline of the Anunnaki or something, is it? I don't know.
I don't know. But there is those intermingles. I mean, we don't study this, and I think that's why we get on well doing this, because we don't have...
Any bias.
We don't have previous knowledge. We don't have research under our belt, you know, that could give us an ego or an opinion. Mm-hmm. We want to learn as we go.
Yeah.
But
yesterday, though, with the mermaids, what did we get? not Rose line.
This is the thing.
And the Rose line is linked back to Isis.
A lot of people link the Rose line to Mary Magdalene, and I do think there's definitely a link with Mary Magdalene in it. But actually, the Rose line started with Isis.
And Isis birthed the first man.
We very clearly got that on a session, that the Rose line is from Isis.
And we got told that mermaids are not of the Rose line.
Not of the Rose line.
But we didn't ask about mermen.
But we didn't ask about mermen. And this, see, going back to just the mermaids not being of the Rose line would actually back up what we're trying to kind of discover, our kind of theory. You see, people say, don't they, that the Anunnaki men had like intercourse with the...
Well, I don't know if they had intercourse with them, but they bred with them in some way, whether it was IVF or
the human.
They bred with humans.
Human ladies. But like going back to what we said before, how does that baby then grow? Why wouldn't it make more sense that the Anunnaki women were birthing babies of the human men
from the sperm?
From the sperm,
it would make more sense. So the story is that Isis took an egg and messed with the DNA and then implanted it in herself. But what actually if it wasn't an egg? What actually if she used the sperm and her own egg?
Yeah.
To birth
because
the
everything
first man.
has been distorted, and we have to remember this. So there's going to be people that come to us and say to us, well, no, that's not what's said. But we have been told from day one that what has been said isn't all true.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer that there is truth in everything, but not one thing is truth. So I believe truth has been scattered throughout all stories.
Yeah.
And it's about finding those little nuggets of truth and piecing it together.
You've got the mermaids, the mermen.
Okay,
so another way we can look at this as well is if it wasn't human men that Isis took the sperm from, or a human man, it was a merman.
It was a merman.
Which allowed then her to birth the first human man.
Giant.
The giant.
Because they say that Adam and Eve were giants as well.
So
I've heard that.
It would make sense as well then, in my head, and this is just my head, why you hear more about mermaids than mermen. Because mermen...
Well, if they want to keep...
What if the mermaids were singing to get their men back?
Yeah, because they've basically been...
Made redundant.
They can't procreate. Other than, if you look at it from a scientific point of view, they can, but they could only birth another female because that is the only way immaculate conception can occur. You can immaculately conceive, but it could only be a complete copy and replica of what is birthing it, aka a female. So their species would just die out. So,
should we just ask the board at this point, before we continue, if there is any truth in what we've said so far?
Okay, go on then.
So the little conversation that we've just had, is there any truth in that?
Time to dig, Vicky.
It's saying, yeah, that doesn't mean all of it was true.
There is some
We are
truth.
so open to be wrong.
Oh, God, I'm happy to be wrong. Okay.
It's cool if we're right, but...
Oh, I know, but it's also cool if we're wrong, because then we get to dig some more. So, where do we begin? Where do we begin, whole self, with this? What could you suggest?
We said such a lot that I don't know which bit to pick out now.
Okay, which part can we start with that is truth?
Giants. Thank you. Long way of going about that. Could have said it a lot quicker.
Okay.
All right there.
What did it say?
Giants, you in beginning was not truth.
Right, okay.
We didn't start as giants.
Giants, you in beginning was not truth. So we didn't start as giants.
No. Okay, so did we start as just humans like we are now? Because that could be the truth.
That could be the truth. Did we?
No.
No. Okay, so if we didn't start as giants and we didn't start as humans as we see now, what did we start as? What were we in the beginning? Not Baron. Baron.
What does that mean?
Is that right? Baron, Baron? Oh, to Google. We've had that word before, but I cannot remember what it means. I'm going to have to start writing a list of these words down. We've had Bannet. We've had Banot. Banot is girl or girls. Bannet is basket. Baron, I cannot fucking remember. Baron. So a baron is a low-ranking member of British nobility, but it's not that because we found something else. The term originated in the 13th century, derived from Middle English and Old French, ultimately originating from a Germanic word meaning free man. Baron. Let's try Middle English and we're going to have to try Hebrew. A term for a member of the feudal nobility. Somebody who held land.
Somebody held land. We weren't on land. We weren't of land.
No, it said somebody who held land.
What does that mean?
Owned land.
Yeah, we weren't landowners. It said not baron.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. I need to write this down. Baron. Because, honestly, Baron.
See, I don't think it wants to say mermaids because that's a human name.
It'd be interesting to see what it would want to call them. So when you say not Baron, are you trying to say that we were not land?
We were not land creatures.
Yeah, landowners. Right, okay.
So we were not land creatures. Were we creatures of the sea, the water, the ocean?
We were, okay. Is there a reason why you don't want to use the word mermaid?
Implies what?
Implies not implies
not man. So you don't want to use the word mermaid or merman because that would imply
that they're not
human, man.
Yeah. Is that right? Okay, so what would you prefer? What, as in a name for them? You, man.
You, man. Like human, like...
It's just saying you, man.
Just call them man.
Like, yeah. Human? Yeah, it's just...
Man that just lived in water, not on land.
Yeah.
Is that basically what you're saying? But did we have, like, tails? Like...
Yeah, like we're led to believe... Well, I presume if we're living in the water, we're going to have some sort of tails. But I don't know. Do we have tails? P-O-R-O...
Did you say, like, poisson? Like...
Porison.
What's fish in French?
Poisson. Poisson. Yeah, it's poisson. Fish in French. Poisson. P-O-I-S-S-O-N. Poisson.
Are you trying to say fish in French? Poisson.
So you're trying to say, did they have tails? Fish. So yeah, like, tails like a fish? Okay.
So did we look? Okay, I know you don't want to use the term mermaid, and we will respect that. However, for the people watching and for us as well, did we look how they are portrayed to look?
Like half human upper torso and fish tail.
Yeah.
Is that what they look like? Oh, sorry.
Close. Okay, so, we don't need to know, you know.
I've not asked about the ninja after that video I watched. If it's similar to that.
Yeah.
So I came across a video on Facebook talking about the ninja, which is a Japanese term for what I think looks like a mermaid.
You haven't even finished the question.
I haven't finished the question. Are you trying to say that the ninja, that image that I saw, would be a good representation of what they would look like? No. I'll put it on screen so you can see it. So
that's a closer representation than what, you know, like the Disney Ariel.
Yeah, so it's not like Ariel with flowing hair and...
Beautiful.
And a shell bikini. It was like it's human form, but you can also tell that it's not. That's fascinating. Okay, I'll put a picture on screen. Ninja.
So we started as sea creatures.
That makes me want to ask another question though, about since we're talking about how they look. They were described as 60 feet long. Are true... I don't know how to say it without saying mermaid.
You'll know what you mean.
I don't want to say mermaid, but, you know, were they also themselves of large proportion? Giant. Yeah, that makes sense. Not originally.
Not originally. How does that make sense?
Well, I think with the messing about.
Oh, the Anunnaki.
Maybe if that's true, we haven't got to that bit, but if they did mess with them.
That's why they became so big.
Yeah, I mean, is that true? If they're not originally that long or that big.
Was it the interference of the Anunnaki that caused them to... Yeah.
Because if you think, I don't know, maybe it wasn't the first try, it worked. Do you know what I mean?
So the Anunnaki, when they came, they weren't originally messing with land beings. Because there weren't any. They were messing with these sea human creature.
Yeah. So is there truth then to that about the Anunnaki, about them coming here and toying with our species?
Yeah.
There is? Okay. I'm open to that. Cool. Okay. So if the first thing that is truth was giants, you in beginning was not truth. Mermaids are a thing. They were of the sea. They look a lot like an Indian, found in Antarctica, obviously. They weren't originally giants, but being messed with made them turn into these big beings. And the Anunnaki did come here and mess with them.
That's right.
To create...
land creatures. That was their intention.
Well, yeah. Was that what they were trying to do? Were they trying to create... I think, because I heard somewhere, I think they were trying to create like a slave race or something.
Oh, well, there'd be no good to do them in the sea, would they?
Well, no. I mean,
they'd want them on land with legs.
Yeah, because I think the story goes with Nibiru, I think they came here because they needed to mine the resources of this planet to repair their own. Like gold and something else, they needed to repair their own planet. And they needed like a slave race to do that. That's the story I've heard. I don't know if I kind of resonate with it or not, but that's kind of what I've heard.
So they probably looked at all the creatures on the earth, saw these sea mermaid, human...
Probably thought they were easiest to...
And thought they're going to be the best for us, but they need some legs and they need to be able to go on the land.
Is that correct? Is there truth in that? Right, okay. So they did come here then to mine, to repair their own planet, the Anunnaki. And to wedding other race.
And to wedding of a
Oh,
race.
I did read that right then.
Yeah.
And to wedding other race. So they came here to breed.
They came here intentionally to
Breed and...
make a hybrid race, to breed with us, to create...
What? Little minions.
But was the purpose of creating these little minions so that they would be the slaves? Or
That's
did
the story
they have...
I've heard.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking...
If their initial intention was to breed, why were they breeding? What were they breeding for? What were they breeding for? Not you.
So it was...
How do you mean?
Not your good. So, yeah, well, we get that. It wasn't for the goodness of us. It wasn't to help us. It was to help them in some way. So that's what we're trying to
Yeah,
out.
were they trying to make like little slaves? Lost that.
They wanted your home.
Oh, yeah.
But had to cede to stay.
Oh, it was a takeover.
They wanted our home, but in order to stay, they had to cede to stay. Why did they have to cede to stay? Maybe there's only a few of them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. We'll get to that another time. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're still here.
Mm-hmm. Their bloodline.
So they're still here.
Listen, if Isis birthed the first man, Adamu, who is a bloodline from the Anunnaki, of course they're still here. It's the bloodline.
Oh, it's us.
Wow. Whoever's the line of Adam. I mean, because you've also got the Rose line.
Which is Isis.
Oh, yeah. No, sorry.
Okay, we'll get to that bit. It's one bit at a time, eh?
So basically, their way of being able to stay on this plane was by seeding and changing and altering to create their version of what they wanted us to be, and it's the bloodline that is allowing them to remain on this plane. Is that right? In this realm. Okay. Yes, it's the bloodline. Oh no, we haven't finished. They rule, but... Huh?
They rule, but split too. To what? They split too. They rule...
But they split too.
They rule, but they split too. I'm going to say that 15 times and it still won't make sense.
Well, I will ask.
So there's two lines. There's two lines of them because they...
No. Not. Not lines. Two.
Not lines two.
What do you mean by the number 2? They split. What do you mean by 2 reality? They rule, but they split 2 realities.
And this is where it went from plane 1 to plane 2? And plane 3?
So they come in at creation point. Plane... Right, so plane 1, land of giants, creation point from Anunnaki to man, split reality to plane 2. What I mean?
I don't know.
Just split reality.
We'll get to that.
So
let's work out the beginning first.
So, okay.
So this whole having intercourse with the Anunnaki men, take that word out of it because they don't necessarily do it like that, but the Anunnaki men breeding with the women. Please, can we just call them mermaids, because it just makes it easier for us and for the people watching. Is that okay? You know what we mean? Thank you. So the Anunnaki men breeding with the mer women, is that true? Eventually.
But it did say that mermaids didn't start off giants.
They had to make so before they even did the breeding, this is the bit a lot of people miss out then.
Before they did the breeding, they had to make them giants.
Before they even did the breeding with the lady mermaids, they had to make them giants. Because see, that makes sense in my head now. I can get on board with that. Correct. See, I couldn't do the whole before because it's like I've had babies, and I know my body. With 2 of my babies, I've had 4. With 2, I'm not early, but a couple of weeks early because they were starting to get over a certain size. I can't carry them any further.
So are you trying to say then that basically when the Anunnaki came, before they could even do any sort of breeding, they had to genetically modify the mer people to create them to be more giant in nature? Right. Okay. And that's why now we're seeing 60-foot long ninja in Antarctica, because that's a byproduct of the messing about with the DNA and whatnot.
Yeah. So I don't understand how this then relates back to Isis and her egg.
Well, now we'll ask. Because maybe that is truth then, if they did make ginormous mermaids and mermen, and maybe it's not. We don't know.
So, yeah, but let's just ask that first as well. What was created from these giant mermaids with these Anunnaki men? Did it work? Did they become the land creatures straight away? Did that work?
No. So it didn't work at all, correct? No, it didn't work at first then. Is that correct? Okay.
But you've got... So they turned all these mermaids really big. Some were obviously left alone. Some became really big. Some of the big ones eventually did have babies with the Anunnaki. No. Because Adam was the first man, that's how it worked.
But the story goes that Isis had to do something with the egg. So I don't know. I'm just
what egg was it? Where did she get the egg?
I don't know, but we'll ask in a sec. But I'm just thinking, if you've got a mermaid and an Anunnaki, maybe those genetics don't mix and therefore can't create a living birth. So if that was the case, then maybe learnt that, and that's why Isis had to mess with whatever she messed with to create the first man.
Yeah.
See where I'm going? So, but let's ask about Isis. Let's just clear that up. Let's just see. Is that story true? Did Isis create and birth the first man? Okay, she did. And that would be Adam, or Adamu, what I've heard. Is that right? Okay. So that is why plane 4 is called the line of Adam, I take it, because we come from that very first creation. Okay. But the question is, did she use a merwoman's egg to do it? Or did she use the sperm of a merman to do it?
With her own egg.
With her own egg. Option 1 or option 2? Which are we going for? Or are both incorrect? Which would be option 3. I'm trying to make it easy. Option 3.
Both are incorrect.
Is that correct? Is that right? They're both incorrect. Oh, okay. So it wasn't a sperm. No. It wasn't an egg. No. What did they do? They created Eve. It just spelled Eve.
I know it did. But that just totally blew everything out.
I know! But didn't we have...
But it's called the line of Adam and he's
Oh, I know,
man.
but if you go back to the last live session we did and we were talking on maybe Eve was the first person, not Adam.
So what's all this? It came from Adam's rib and everything.
I don't know, but this, and we said about everything being distorted. So maybe Eve was the first born, not Adam. Eve was the first creation. It literally just spelled Eve.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Are
Yeah.
you saying that neither of them are correct because we're basing that theory on the fact that it was what was born was a man, Adam? She used... Okay, so you've gone to 1. So are you trying to say she used the egg of a mermaid but gave birth to Eve, not to Adam? Is that correct? No. Okay. So why are you going to 1?
Hang on.
So we had a quick break because we had to
Gather our thoughts.
And we will tell you our thoughts and then we'll confirm our findings with the board. Vicky, where do we begin? So we ended up, it said that no, she did not use egg. No, theory 1 wasn't right. Did she use a mermaid's egg? Theory 2 wasn't right. Did she use a merman's sperm? We got 3. They're both incorrect. And then it spelled out Eve.
But we also got a message before that saying they rule.
Oh, yeah. They rule, but they split 2.
Split 2. It's making us wonder if originally on Earth, not Earth because it's a realm, but on...
Yeah,
on Earth.
In the Earth realm.
Yeah, originally Earth was just a female.
So there were no more men.
There was no
nothing
reproduction.
It was just females, and females can reproduce themselves, but only a copy of themselves. They cannot make a man because you would need the introduction of a Y chromosome.
And this takes us back to our Jesus video about the Immaculate Conception, and it was saying Banot, meaning daughters.
Oh, daughter or daughters, yeah.
Not man.
No. And that with that phrase, they rule, but they split 2.
That's introducing the male.
The Y chromosome.
And I hate to say it, and I know you don't like this, but it is a man's world. Men, and I know that's wrong, but if you look at history where women were locked up for menopause and things.
Oh, yeah, history. We've been trod on, demonised.
And then if you even look at today, you know, if the human body is studied for medical reasons, it's the masculine body, it's not the feminine.
Yeah.
And I mean, menopause isn't even compulsory, is it, in medical
No,
school?
it's not a compulsory thing to learn. You can choose to learn it or not. But bearing in mind, we are actually make up the majority of the population. I think we make up 51% of the population.
And we continue it.
Yeah. And
we bring life into the world, new life.
Yeah.
But we are not as important.
So,
Anyway,
our thinking is that.
Was Earth originally just female anatomy, female creation, and basically
Mermen didn't exist.
Mermen didn't exist, and that's why when you look at mermaids and things, it's always mermaids. It's not you do get the odd mermaid,
but it's mostly mermaids.
It's mostly mermaids, and so females didn't exist, but how they continued was that they would
reproduce themselves, like a copy, basically. Is that correct? Are we on the right lines here, where we think that this realm was purely populated by feminine energy only? Fuck.
Oh dear, we're going to upset people.
Okay.
I know it sounds so far-fetched. But...
Okay, so that would explain why she couldn't use the sperm of a merman, because there were no such things as mermen.
So we started
Is that correct?
We started as mermaids. We reproduced ourselves, all females. Men weren't needed.
No offence to the men out there. I like men. You know?
I love men. Yeah.
So that then... So let's just clarify. All creation prior to Anunnaki appearing were female only, correct? The Anunnaki appeared and they wanted minions. And they started breeding. Did they purposefully create man? They did purposely create man. I'll go write that down. Okay. But going back to Isis, who created the first version of this, what we see today, was that very first creation man or woman? It was man.
Yeah.
But initially, prior to that, man did not exist. So, did she then take an egg of a mermaid to manipulate that and introduce the Y chromosome to it? Okay.
Did mermaids even have eggs?
Well, fish do. Called roe.
I'm just thinking, because how it would work.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe
I'm trying to figure out what they already say. So they say that she had an egg. Was the egg her own?
No.
It was a mermaid's egg. No.
Was there an egg?
There was no egg. So what did she do? Banat. Girls. Daughters. That's not helping.
She had a daughter.
Oh.
An Anunnaki. No, because she wasn't Anunnaki, was she?
I don't know. Was Isis Anunnaki? No, but she was created from the Anunnakis.
Oh, we've gone right off track.
How does Isis even get involved with the Anunnaki? I don't know.
See, the Anunnakis were here and they were They turned the merladies into giants, giant mer women. They were trying to make land creatures, didn't work at first. So then where does Isis get involved?
Yeah, how does Isis get involved in all this? Where does this all become a part of her?
Let's try to say Venus.
Isis came from Venus. Okay, Isis came from Venus. Oh, the Anunnaki came from Nibiru. Was Earth just a mixing pot for the gods to play in? No. Isis came from Venus. The Anunnaki came from Nibiru. But how do they... What's the... Why? Why together? Did Isis breed with the Anunnaki? No. Well, what's the link between the Anunnaki and Isis then? Try to not die. Was Venus in trouble as well then? So the Anunnaki, they were the ones who came here who tried to not die. Is that correct? How does Isis link into this? Was she helping them?
Was Isis trying to help Earth?
Did she see what the Anunnaki were doing to the mermaids and tried to help? Right, okay.
Okay. Still completely confused.
Yeah. Maybe they were going to eventually wipe out the mermaids by what they were doing. Oh.
But they did. Didn't they?
No, there's still a few.
Oh, yeah.
To help stop extinct of...
But it was Isis that gave birth to the first man.
So why did it spell out Eve then? Did you spell out Eve just to put that thought in our brains to help us understand that all in the beginning, prior to all this, there was only women? Is that why you spelled Eve?
No, Eve's relevant.
Okay, so why did you spell out Eve? I-S. Eve is Isis.
No. Eve, Isis. You spout. Was there any more to that?
Eve, Isis. Eve is Isis's sister.
Is she? No. Isis is Venus.
Yeah.
Eve is Earth. Earth and Venus are sisters.
Are they?
Yeah, I reckon.
Okay.
You see, they are.
So Eve was never a...
Hang on, because I did get a bit excited, so I need to calm down sometimes. Just double check. Ego go. Are you saying that Venus and Earth are sisters? Are you saying that Eve represents Earth?
And that Isis represents Venus. So there was no physical human like me called Eve. No.
But we said the other day, didn't we, that Eve was the garden?
Eve was the garden. So Isis is representative of Venus. Did that representation create into a physical manifestation of what we know as Isis? Danny, on your list.
You've wrote something down that's important.
Oh, God. Could be fucking anywhere. There's a Saturn, Neptune, Venus and Mercury alignment coming up. Is that it? No. Is this something to do with the Red Sea Scrolls? Okay. Is this anything to do with these lines of Iran? No. Is this something to do with the Red Sea and Moses? No. Is this to do with the Holy Grail? To see.
To see.
Baron, not landowners, Anunnaki. They rule, but they split two. Plane one, land of giants, creation, Anunnaki, to man, split reality. Okay, what were you going to say? The split brain.
Cranium.
I looked at it, but I thought no.
Split brain.
Yeah. Playing to perspective. Playing for perspective of Moses. Symbolic of the split brain.
Split brain.
Split brain.
What was we talking about though?
The left and the right hemispheres, one being masculine, one being feminine. Was that what we were talking about?
No, but not then. But for us to say, look at your list, what were we talking about?
Because we were trying to figure out, I said, is there a physical person like me who was created called Eve? No. And then it said your notes.
Your notes, split brain.
So what they did is they did create the first man, but they split the brain to allow for the feminine and the masculine to live within one body. You not see.
You not see. I know we're not seeing it, but it's difficult. I wonder if anybody watching can see.
Hopefully you can see. Your notes, cranium, split brain, the hemispheres. The left controls the right controls the left. It's back to front. Shouldn't it be the left controls the left and the right controls the right?
Would make more sense probably, wouldn't it? No.
So Eve wasn't a physical person.
Eve was Earth.
Eve was Earth. And Isis created the first man, Adam.
Yeah.
And in doing so, split the brain into the left and the right hemispheres. Correct? P-A-N. Banot, girls.
Banot, girls, daughters.
And why is that an answer to that question? And in so doing, split the brain into girls. Is the brain just purely feminine? Created man, and in doing so, split the brain. Banot. Were there three? Did she create three beings? Oh. I was thinking maybe she created a man and two girls. You're going to have to help us out. We're really struggling with this. Our world. 7.
We don't know it yet. We think it's that, don't we?
Mm. In doing so, she split the brain. Banner, you're going to have to help us out here. World 7.
Integration. Integrate. 7 is integrate, isn't it?
7 is integrate. Are you talking about realm 7 or plane 7? Plane 7. Okay. Plane 7. Now it's getting complicated.
It's getting complicated.
Are we not?
I think we found out a lot of good information.
Are we not supposed to be knowing any more right now? Is that why it's getting difficult again?
Well, it is an hour and 12 minutes on there.
Is that right? Yes. We're not supposed to. Correct. Okay. No, we've learnt enough today.
Should we summarise?
I mean, yeah, let's summarise. Go for it. Go for your life.
So, Earth started off all female. I mean, we presume that's all animals, not just the mermaid.
I don't know. Should we ask? But then that makes me think plane 2, Noah's Ark. He took one of every sex.
So in plane 1...
We were only female.
We were only female, at least until the giants come.
Uh-huh. Wipe out. Start again with man and woman.
Is that correct? We were sea creatures, mermaids, that replicated themselves to continue
Their own existence.
Anunnaki came, made the sea mermaids giants, messing around.
Because they wanted little minions, they know, for their whatever.
At first it didn't work.
No, it didn't work at first.
We haven't got to whether it did eventually work, because then it led on to Isis, who...
Did it eventually work? Did the Anunnaki eventually figure it out? Oh, they did. Is that with the help of Isis, I take it? Oh, no.
No.
Oh.
It seems like Isis...
stepped in to... Well, yes, basically, I think from what we've said, she stepped in to kind of help, because whatever the Anunnaki was doing wasn't good. Was that correct?
Yes, because she was from Venus, the sister of Earth, which was Eve. That we got that. I mean, we did.
Yeah, no, we did. Yeah, we got that in a previous session about Eve being Earth as well.
Yeah, we did. And that kind of is it so far.
Yeah.
I mean, how the giants kind of come in as land giant creatures, humans.
Well, that's, I think, yeah, because we kind of got off track a bit. But whatever the Anunnaki were doing to the mermaids, is this how giants came to be? Through what the Anunnaki were doing? Right, okay.
But the thing is, if Isis gave birth to the first man, how could they have already had created the man, the giants?
The first human. They don't call giants humans, do they?
Oh, yeah.
There must be a differentiation between the two. Is there? What's the differentiation between giant and human, other than them being a lot bigger? Is it just size? Intelligence. Okay. So that's not very nice. We're calling the giants not very clever.
Were the giants the Anunnaki slaves then?
Yeah.
But, you know, they're big.
Big, powerful, and especially if they're not highly intelligent, they're not going to rebel, are they? They'll be like, oh, whatever. Giants. I feel bad writing that they're not intelligent.
Yeah, they have other qualities.
Of course they do. They're very big and they can reach the top shelves in Asda.
They can. Like, so giants, can I just make sure then, were giants of male and female?
Yeah.
Oh. Did Isis take the egg of a female giant that was created by the Anunnaki?
6.
So we didn't get a yes or no for that. We got 6, but we know in our planes that ancient Egypt is plane 6.
Yeah. Are you talking to plane 6? So she took the egg of a giant
That was created by the Anunnaki
and
made Adam,
human,
the first man, Adam.
Adam, on plane 6. No, but were you just saying plane 6 as a reference to ancient Egypt, as in Isis? Okay. Yes, B-A-N. Band.
And.
Oh, and. Huh?
She harmonised.
Oh, so number 6 is harmonised. So
number 6 is harmonised.
Yes,
makes sense.
It does. So she took the egg of a female giant, and that's what she put inside her to create the first human.
Did the giants not have the split brain? Am I correct?
Right, so giants didn't have split brains. It's only the human.
Did the split brain allow more intelligence?
It allowed harmony.
It allowed harmony.
Were giants very aggressive? Ah, they were very aggressive. So I guess you have to figure out a way of calming the aggressiveness down in them. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist.
And why did we become small when we...
Well, yeah, why did we become small? Not today.
Not today.
We can't talk about that today. Okay.
Is that the end for today then?
Right. So, Anunnaki.
Please
came.
put all your questions and your perspectives in the comments.
Yeah.
We will explore them next time.
We will explore them next time. But we have learnt a little bit now about plane 1. About the land of giants. About how they came to be. But they came from fucking mermaids.
Oh, it's so exciting.
It is so exciting. Giants originated from fucking mermaids and Anunnaki dicking around wanting little helpers.
Isis comes into it and...
To save the day and was like, no, not having this. Gonna create little people. who aren't aggressive.
Because I'll split their brain.
Because I'll split their brain. But that's for another day. And we were entirely populated as females only. And then the Anunnaki came along and fucked that up for us. And now look at it. They're all dick measuring, starting wars.
There's a lot more to the whole Anunnaki thing, though.
Oh, God, yeah.
But hang on.
Oh, God, we ain't finished yet. Hang on, she's got an...
Split 2.
I've got to get a biscuit.
They rule split 2.
Yeah.
They're the humans that are on the earth today.
Yeah.
Are some of the Anunnaki, the ones in power.
Mm-hmm.
And then others are Isis, the Rose line.
I really wanted my biscuit. Yes.
The Rose line. We need to look more into this Rose line. Anyway, that's it. Go on.
Bye.